Okay, today is a great show. We've got Daisy here. So we have a hat maker. Is that what you call yourself?
Yeah,
a professional hat maker.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call yourself a Mad Hatter or just a regular?
That's like over everyone. Everyone's like, I'm the Mad Hatter.
Oh, is that a thing?
It's like a thing, yeah.
Okay,
like
I figured as much. Right?
Every dude and his mom's like, I'm like the Mad Hatter. And I'm like, okay.
Dude, I like it though. I'm not gonna lie. I like the ability to brand around Mad Hatter for like a second. Obviously, it's not my thing. So for a second, that's the most obvious choice would be the Mad Hatter, right?
Yeah.
So, but how did you come up with your name?
So I have to go back a little bit.
Please, yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're here for you. We got nothing but time.
I'm here for you. Okay. So I used to tour with a metal band. I was like a merch guy, tour manager kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're in this mall somewhere, middle America, and this kid's like, "Oh, you guys are a sleeper!" Like, "Oh my god!" And the kid's like, "I'm Twitch," and the other kid's like, "I'm Flameboy," or like whatever, and they like, introduces their nicknames. And I'm leaving, and I was like an 18-year-old kid. I was like, God, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. And I was like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm the Maze. I'm Daisy Maze. And the dudes in the van were like, never heard my name again. I was never called Gage ever again. It was always Daisy Maze or the Maze. So to this day, right? Like,
that's awesome.
When I was trying to think of a name, for my company, I was like, oh, I'll just do Daisy Maze. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And so I was telling friends, I'm like, yeah, I'm starting Daisy Maze. And they go, Daisy May? And I'm like, no, fuck, dude, no, it's Daisy Maze. And they'd be like, oh, okay, cool, man. Yeah. Then my fiance is like, Daisy May sounds better. It's easier to say. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's roll with that. So literally that's how I got the name. It just, people were saying Daisy May instead of Daisy Maze. And so I was like, well, customers like write a lot of the time.
Right.
So I'm going to change it. And so that's what I did.
That's really fucking cool.
Thanks, man.
It's a fucking great Genesis story.
Yeah. It was just,
what band was it? I gotta ask.
I worked for?
Yeah.
I worked for a band called Oh Sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
They're on Solid State Records. They're like my favorite band growing up. And they came through town, and the lead singer, Micah, was like super sick. And I was like 17. And I was like, they're like, well, we're not going to play tonight. I'm like, you can't not play. I'll sing for you. I know every word. You're my favorite band. And Shane, the guitar player, was like, oh, do you know the new stuff? Like, no, it's not out yet. He's like, well, that fucking sucks. Well, guess no new songs. Thanks, guy. I'm like, well, I know the old stuff. He's like, I'll play some old songs. So I went up and sang like 4 or 5 songs for him that night, filled in for Micah. And he was literally on the side of the stage holding an ice cream bucket and a Slipknot pillow, just like puking from the flu.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah. And then from there, I was just like, I'm from New Mexico originally, right? From right outside Albuquerque. So every time bands would come through Albuquerque, I was like, I gotta go see bands. Like, I love heavy music. It's different, right? It's like, it's pulling like some emotions out of me. It's evoking this stuff. And I really enjoyed it. And, but yeah, I was just like, hey, if you guys ever need a merch guy, let me know. I'll be your merch guy. I'll like teach me everything. And so my senior year, like a year later, my senior year of high school, I flew to Kentucky, tried out for this band, and I made it. We did one tour and the band broke up. But I dropped out of high school to be in this band because they just got signed.
Solid.
So I was like, I'm so fucking dumb.
Right.
What am I going to do? And then Oh Sleeper called me. And they're like, hey, we need a merch guy. I was like, oh my God, this is great. I'll come be your merch guy. So I was like 18, just making too much money at 18, from like tips and stuff. And just blowing it, making out girls, drinking too much. Just I was touring, right? I'm like living the dream, touring. Then from there, I quit working for them and they got me my own band. And then I sang for a band for like from 20 years old to 3 years ago. I toured in a metal band.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking wild, man.
Yeah.
So do you still listen to just
heavy
metal?
Music? Oh yeah. But I listen to everything though, man. I like, when you're on tour with heavy bands, it's like you can only listen to so many songs about them being mad at their parents every night. And so I listen to like a lot of country, or I listen to like folk stuff or indie stuff. I literally listen to everything, you know. I walk into my house and my fiance's got Bob Marley playing sometimes, or she's got like, you know, Bon Iver, whatever, you know.
So when did you move to Nashville?
When I was 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a metal scene out there?
No.
Right.
Country scene.
Yeah.
But I just Nashville is one of those places that I went to on tour.
Right.
I was like, this place is awesome, man. I love Broadway. I love all the neon. And I like country music. You know, I grew up bull riding and stuff like that. So I like country. And I was like, if I could ever move anywhere, I'd move here. I think I just moved to Nashville.
Right.
And the opportunity kind of arose, and I just drove out to Nashville one day.
It's a cool city, man. Like our roasting facility is just outside in Manchester. You and I were talking about that on the way, like cruising around outside.
Yeah.
Every time I'm out there, because we've got a place in San Antonio, we got a place here in Salt Lake. Nashville is just one of those cities that I wish I would have spent a lot more time there over the last few years. Now I get the opportunity to go out, you know, but it's kind of, everybody knows Nashville's cool now, right?
Yeah.
So like everybody's there.
Yeah.
It's no longer kind of a cool secret, cool city.
Yeah. Like it used to be fun to go out to Broadway, you know, like you and your buddies. You go to Broadway and like go to Roberts, and it's like, hey, get the really shitty sandwich and a beer, and you're gonna dance some old lady, have a great time.
Awesome.
And then now it's like bachelorette chicks. You got chicks like puking on the sidewalk, and you're just like, this sucks, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a lot. It's almost a sister city to Austin in a lot of different ways, right? Because it's a red state, blue city, lots of music, a lot of art, a lot of super talented culinary guys or people.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So you got great food, you got great coffee, you got great music, and then you also have the freedom of the red state.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like the freedom of the, you know, what they just came out and said there's not a mask mandate in Texas today or something like that. So the whole internet is in an uproar about conservative states, you know, the quote was the Neanderthal thinking of conservative states or something like that. I'm like, and these states, this is where everybody's moving for a reason, motherfuckers.
Did you see Gavin Newsom tweeted at homeboy out in Texas?
Did he really?
Yeah, and the dude
Governor
from Texas,
Abbott?
Yeah, it tweeted. I think it was Abbott.
God.
Or he was like, he tweeted the link and he was just like, how dare they?
Yeah,
right?
how dare they?
God damn it. But then I don't know if it was Abbott or someone from Texas was just like, hey, bitch, all your people are moving here. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And it's like, that dude, I was just in LA 4 weeks ago.
Oh,
and
man.
I went out for an appointment, right? And I had I need like a little 3-day break, right? I've been grinding my ass off. And so my fiance's like, why don't you go? We had some friends in California, in Long Beach. So I stayed in Long Beach. I had one appointment in LA. And dude, I couldn't believe it. What sucks is California, the weather is amazing, right?
Awesome.
It's beautiful. It's awesome. The food's great. You know, I got sushi. I had great coffee when I was out there.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but I'm outside at like 7 a.m. You know, the sun's woken me up. I'm like, this is great. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to have a cigarette and my coffee. And that's like how I'm like, it doesn't get any more relaxed for me than that, right? Like right there. And I'm in a new state. No one knows me. It's fun. This lady walks by. She's like, put a mask on. I was like, bitch, I'm going to get lung cancer. What do you want from me right now? Like, leave me alone. You know, I was like, dude, but people are just, they freak out like crazy out there.
They freak the fuck out.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's leadership. I think you have a governor that's weak. I'm not a huge fan of the guy. Now, granted, I don't follow him very closely. He just seems to me like a smarmy douchebag.
He seems like a weasel.
He really does. He seems like he should be selling like timeshare condos in Costa Rica or something. The guy's just he's just slicked back hair. You know, he's Nancy Pelosi's nephew or some shit.
Okay, I knew they were related.
They're related. It's just a smarmy D-bag. Yeah. And I think that creates an acceptable amount of smarminess around the rest of the state where people think that they're empowered and entitled to tell other people what to do, which is just a very dangerous mentality, just all the way around, right? Yeah. Where I tend to just stay on the side of the belief system that I shouldn't be telling other people what to do. Like, I just kind of like, hey man, unless you're, you know, causing a problem for me or my family or my company, like, I'm just going to stay the fuck out of your life. Like, that's kind of, you do you. I'm going to do me.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to live my life.
Yeah.
If I were to tell other people how to live their life, it'd be stay the fuck out of my life type of a thing, you know? In other people's lives. That's kind of the whole thing. With me, I'm just kind of a freedom guy.
I like being left alone. You can do what you want to do, and I'm going to do what I want to do. It seems like it's not that hard.
It seems like it's not that hard, but it's super hard for human beings. It's really, really difficult for other human beings to let other human beings just be free.
You need to think how I think.
Yeah.
You know, we had a... my fiance's friend, some family friends, right?
Right.
Don't ever see this, so I don't give a shit. Anyways, they were like, I tweeted something about the election, right? Just like, man, we're screwed. Let's just look at both these guys. We're kind of fucked. Like,
it's hard tea at the end.
Yeah, you know, it's like, I'm not really excited about either of these guys, you know? And she's just like, and I think I was like, I'm voting for Kanye, is what I said. You know, I was like, well, going off his Joe Rogan thing, he's a good Christian man, right? And he's a good businessman. It's like, I'm gonna go for Kanye, whatever, you know? And then this girl's like, how dare you?
How dare you?
And she goes, if you aren't voting for Biden, you are a threat to my family. And I literally wrote her, I was just like, dude, I don't give a shit about who you're voting for. Why do you care about who I am or who I'm not going to vote for? Right. Why do you care so much? I was like, I might vote for a third party. I don't know. And at this point, I'm just fucking with her because I'm like, why are you texting about this?
Right.
Why is this taking up time right now in my life when I'm like, I'm trying to give my daughter a bath and you want to text me like pages of shit that I'm like, I just was just like, dude, I'm not reading this. I don't care. I can't tell you how much I don't care.
Right.
I'm like, marry who you want to marry, do what you want to do, and believe whatever you want to believe in. Just leave me alone. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. And I think people in our generation are having like a really hard time because social media has granted them a voice.
Yeah.
So I'm like, doesn't mean it matters. You know?
Yeah, too many stupid people have instant access to communication devices.
Yeah.
And the unfortunate reality that we live in is those people can also get on social media and tweet and develop a following, right? And it doesn't really matter what you believe, right? My belief system is somewhat arbitrary, only in the context of I have a company and a family. So I can affect a decent amount of people, right? Just, you know, on my individual ideology, right?
Yeah.
But I've spent a lot of time thinking about why is it that people want to control other people so badly? And I'm not an anarchist by any stretch of the imagination. I believe in like organized government and institutions. I believe in all of this.
Organized crime.
Yeah. Well, it's less chaotic. So it's obviously, you know, organized. Like I like organization. I've thought a lot about it because it doesn't matter in the context of, you think about the history of and the development of the country, and you look at the influences from other people, and you think about just religion in general.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, when you have hardcore religious people too, they want to tell other people what they should be doing, what God they should be worshiping, and then what rules they should be following because their God's the only God. And it's like, hey man, there are billions of people on the planet. They all kind of worship separately and in a lot of different ways. And Now, I'm not smart enough to actually determine which one is the right one, nor do I want, or should I ever believe that I have the authority to tell somebody else that they should be, reading a specific book and worshiping a specific God. Either way, the conversation that I'm having on a constant basis with people is, I don't know what political party I'm in anymore because I just believe in less government.
Yep.
Like, I don't want dum-dums to have control over what I do.
Yeah.
And it just seems like there's a bunch of dum-dums that we always forfeit our liberty to.
Yeah.
And I've seen in the last year, and it's changed the way that I look at like people and the government in general, because when you look at these individual municipalities and cities around the United States and states and how they've handled COVID, and they've all handled it a little bit differently, and they all have their own little interpretation and spin. I'm like, these people are dumb as fuck. Like, it scares me because I'm like, holy shit, these people are dumb.
Yeah.
Like, why are we allowing them? And I come back and I have this conversation with my wife too a lot, right? Where I'm like, these are the same dum-dums that invented the food pyramid, right?
Yeah.
These are the same guys that were like, hey guys, let's eat nothing but grains at the bottom of the food pyramid and sugar. That's good for you. And by the way, doctor says you should smoke a couple packs a day. That's going to keep you healthy. And it's like, and you're going to forfeit your life plans to these people, the same guys that were injecting the ghetto with, different venereal diseases to see what was going on. And don't get me wrong, I worked for the government, so I can be a critic of it, like I'm hypercritical of it. So I'm always hypercritical of this conversation in America where people are always going, well, we got to trust the government this time. This time it's the right time.
They're going to get it right.
They're going to get it right.
Home run right here, man. I'm all in on chips, baby.
I'm chips in on this one.
Yeah.
Hey, don't believe in that other one, but I'm chips in on this one.
Double green.
I'm going to get.
Double green right here, man. Right here. This is it. Man.
Yeah.
Dude. I know, and everyone's an expert now too,
Everybody's
right?
an expert.
When COVID hit, it's like, hang on.
Yeah.
I was on Fox or I was on CNN. I know exactly what to say about all this. And I'm just like, dude. And then they're scientists, right? Yeah. So they're I don't know. And then
it's confusing as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
The entire national conversation across the board is so confusing, from medical experts to what the government is saying. And like, you couldn't blame people for just saying, hey, can I just sit this one out, maybe be a skeptic for a while and just be a little bit social distance? And I guess that was my point. In like these states now, these awesome states like, Texas and Tennessee, these are fucking cool states, and they're really cool cities.
Yeah.
They've been discovered in the sense of these governors have to ask themselves, to go, why are people moving out of my state?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Governor Abbott, actually, I follow his politics relatively close. Gavin Newsom, just because he annoys me, and I think it's fucking hilarious to make fun of him. I think there are a lot of people moving out of the state of California because they truly just don't like the politics at this point. And to your point, California has the best weather in the United States. I don't give a shit who you are. Like, they have the best surfing, they've got the best fishing, they've got the best, skiing in the United States.
You can hunt in California too.
You can fucking kill massive elk.
Yeah.
But they have the craziest, some of the craziest policies. They're talking about this like exit tax. So if you leave, they're going to tax you to leave. And they proposed another tax, which was, if you even come to the state on vacation, if you're there for 8 days, you're going to pay 8 days of income tax for the state of California. No shit. This is where they're at in their policy and decision making. Is they're just trying to figure out ways they can continue to tax people in the state. So I'm like, man, if that's your primary concern, I just can't get on that. I can't get on that team. I can't get on your team and be like, yeah, let's figure out different ways we can tax the shit out of everybody. And
so in your former profession, right? Because you were CIA, right? So you've seen broken governments.
I've seen them. I wouldn't say that I got the butcher's look,
Yeah.
What's that saying? You don't have to stick your head up the cow's ass to get a good look at the cut or something like that.
Is that on Tommy Boy?
Yeah, something like that.
He's like, he said that. Yeah. He goes, you can get a good look at a T-bone steak.
Yeah,
if you shove your head up a bull's ass.
That's right. It's a Tommy Boy quote.
But
that's right.
But he's like, but I'd rather get the butcher's word up for it.
That's right. Yeah. That's so. It's right. It's a Tommy Boy quote.
Yeah, Rob Lowe's made his mom. He's like, ooh, bad mommy. Yeah. She's like, oh, don't call me that. It's a great movie, dude.
It's a great movie.
So good.
I was thinking about that the other day. So that must have provoked this because that scene where he's in the office and he's crashing the two cars, he lights one on fire.
Oh my God! Here comes the meat wagon.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Let's just turn this podcast off and go watch Tommy Boy. Yeah. It's such a good movie. Such a fucking good movie. I've seen failed states. I've seen failed countries. We're all over the fucking place. This is great.
That's great.
So
I love it.
I've seen these failed countries, and it's so interesting from a human psychology and collective psychology point of view when you look at them. But I've also seen them with such a dramatic foreign outside influence, meaning from our perspective, right? And I guess what is scary is we have so much social media that's completely woven it's seamless within our society, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know exactly how that's affecting all of these decisions every day and the way that we interpret information and who ultimately is behind. When I say not like, the Illuminati or something, I'm saying, no, man, there are really hardcore foreign actors that have the means in order to interpret information and then steer information. We've seen it. We've seen the Russian influence in our elections. We've seen Chinese influence in our elections. So we would be really naive just as people to think that foreign governments don't want to interfere with American elections. And more importantly, we'd be really naive to think that foreign governments don't want to interfere with just regular day-to-day information flow through social media. So I think if more people understood that, they address this with like eyes wide open interpretation, they don't really have to look for a grand conspiracy. They just have to understand that there are a lot of people that would like to see the fall of America.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do it by invading the country. It's not going to happen that way. They can do it without a shot fired. They can ultimately just steer information. The society itself will turn on itself, and that's how you'll ultimately cause a collapse, right? And that's where these conversations are crazy. These tertiary extreme elements of our society are having this conversation. They're kind of promoted to national news cycle all the time. And they're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's like listening to crazy people all the time.
Yeah.
And you're going, nobody actually gives a shit about this stuff, right? Like nobody really cares. Like, I don't care whether or not, people put male or female in their internal bathrooms, or transgender, or dolphin, or dog, dolphin, or whatever it is. Like, you identify with you, man. Like, you be you. You do you. Don't care.
I don't care.
I'll just put bathroom on the bathroom label, and then we'll do that.
Just make sure it goes in the bowl. That's all I ask.
Hey, clean up your mess. You shake it off or don't shake it off, depending on how your anatomy fits. I don't fucking know. But there's so many like really, really productive and interesting conversations we could be having as a society, right? About everything. Anything is more interesting than our fucking genitalia. And this like national focus on genitalia all the fucking time is freaky to me, because I'm going, man, we should be talking about how can we solve the energy issues and figure out how we're going to get off this rock if we need to, or divert an asteroid, or I don't know, collectively solve a fucking pandemic, crazy shit like that. Not like whether or not we identify as with a sex organ that we have. Like it's fucking
or renaming
nuts.
Mr. Potato Head to just
Yeah.
Potato Head.
Right. Potato Head, taking away children's books that were written in the 1930s. Like this is a fucking weird time that we're living in where it's like we have all this really interesting, I think I was listening to, I was listening to Rogan the other day because I was listening to Elon and Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about AI specifically, and how dangerous AI is, and how he thought that it's important for us to have some type of government oversight in AI. I was like, wow, now that's a great. I can get behind that form of government because he made the analogy of the FAA, right? Obviously, they have oversight over the airspace so we don't fucking crash planes into each other.
Yeah.
But AI is super fucking scary when you start to think about it, and it could be a really, really tragic fucking mistake if we just let this thing go. And us as human beings, we should probably have some type of government oversight. And I'm like, that's a cool conversation.
Yeah.
Hey guys, can we table the, genitalia conversation for like 10 minutes and maybe talk about AI and having some government oversight in that? I don't know. I'm just fucking throwing it out, right?
Did you see that the dude who, it's like a face swap thing. It's like a deep fake thing.
Yeah.
But Tom Cruise, have you seen that?
No, huh?
Dude, it is amazing. You think it's Tom Cruise out there hitting golf balls. Like it's like the video he's like, hey guys. He does like the mannerisms and stuff. And you're like, oh my God. Tom Cruise is like on social media. This is crazy. But it's not. It's just some dude doing the face swap thing and does his voice so well, but it's so good. You can't even tell that it's not Tom Cruise. And then you're looking at this, you're like, we're in trouble. Like this is scary because what if there's some video of Putin who's just like, we're invading America.
Right.
Bring all the grizzly bears. You know what I mean? Like Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to go like strangle everyone.
Totally sidebar, but fucking sick invasion plan if that's what he's doing. Would be just like dropping off grizzly bears. And how epic would that be? Because if we're on the streets fighting grizzly bears, I'm actually not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that. I think that'd be a fun invasion, actually.
Yeah. My goal is to like my 5-year goal is really to go hunt with Cole up there in Kodiak Island.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd have no problem shooting a bear.
Right.
For practice to go out to Kodiak Island.
Well,
you know what I'm saying, with my bow.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
I mean,
I like where your head's at.
I think it'd be cool because I'm going to feed my family.
Yep.
I'm going to stay warm as shit.
Yeah, super warm.
Super warm.
Because that's going to be a dope-ass jacket.
Dude, sickest jacket.
Yeah.
And then, maybe you can do something with the claws too. You know what I mean? The bones.
Necklace? You could make a sick necklace.
Yeah,
you could do one of those hat things.
You could do a hat band. Did you ever watch Legends of the Fall?
Yes, I did.
It's like the best, even great short story. The novella.
Hot. He's hot.
So hot.
So hot.
Dude, my fiance hadn't seen that till like 3 months ago. Like I was like, oh, you ever seen?
Did you
Legends of the Fall?
confirm her identity as American, or is she one of those like?
I was. She's from.
Saying.
She's from Buffalo, New York.
Oh, supposedly. Yeah, that's I've seen The Americans. I understand how that shit works.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So she was like, I've never seen that movie, and I was like, what the fuck? Hang on, give me back the ring.
Yep.
And our daughter is staying with me,
right?
And you need to go figure life out.
Yep.
So rented it right there. I was like, sit your pregnant ass down. Right. She's pregnant now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. My son's due any minute now.
And you're out here.
I'm out here, dude. Yeah.
Solid. Yeah.
I'm going to come back to the rabbit trail. Last night, watching a show, she's like, hang on, I got to pee because she's pees every 5 seconds. I'm like, okay, great. Bathroom's like right over there. I'm sitting on my phone and I hear her go, oh no. And I'm like, what? What is it? And she goes, I think my water just broke. And I was like, you fucking kidding me? And I was like, you don't say. And I ran over and she's like, I'm just fucking with you. Starting to get a big trip tomorrow. I'm like, I fucking hate you, woman. Like, God damn, I'm so mad.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm here. I'm out here. So
she's any day. So she's ready to pop.
The due day is 24th.
Oh,
yeah. They're like,
right.
From here to here, like you're good to go, you know? So when this trip kind of came up, you know, I was like, I'm going to go March 4th or whatever it is. And she's just like, okay, what if Max comes? I'm like, not going to. He's not. She's like, you sure? I'm like, I'm not sure, but I just know he's not going to be here those days.
Right.
He'd be fine.
Yeah.
Be fine. If he does, we have friends. Just call.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
Women have been having babies for a long time.
She's going to do fine.
Yeah, she's going to do fine.
She's already gave birth to one.
Right.
And she did great that time.
So this is number 2. This should be like easy peasy.
Even
you know
easier.
What I mean? Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, you handle that. I'll be in Salt Lake. If you can have this done and buttoned up by the time I get home.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, that was my point with my second one too, because there's a river in Idaho that I really like running, and high water is typically first trip of the year is within the first 2 weeks of June.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I had sex with my wife 9 months before this, and so my second daughter's birthday always lands within roughly high water mark for the Middle Fork. So I by fucking my wife, I kind of fuck myself, if that makes sense, because we have
there's always pain buried somewhere in the pleasure, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. And but I was telling her, and this was supposed to be like high water. Like when my second daughter was being born, I was like, this is record year.
Yeah.
You've had
9 months to get this done.
Yeah, you've had 9 months.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. This might never come around again in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Right? So what's more important, really? And true, when I say I'm staying true to this fact, which is it's not like they'll remember whether or not I'm there. You know what I mean? They won't. Yeah. They won't even know.
No.
They don't start to remember shit until about a year and a half. So theoretically, I could skip about a year, like just press fast forward and then just show up and be like, oh my God,
you're
how
like
you
a
guys
pale
doing?
white blob looking at them. They're like, who is this guy?
Who is that guy?
He's always kissing me and like holding me.
Who's this guy?
Like, he doesn't have tits. I don't want to hang out with him.
Well, or my wife could just put a mustache on. You know what I mean? Talk to him.
Where's the puppet?
Yeah, get the puppet. I could have the puppet in here.
Yeah.
So I tried to argue that point with my wife on our second one, but it didn't really work.
So you didn't get to go to the record?
No, I didn't.
Watermark?
Well, no. To be honest, I was like, I kind of had a change of heart too, and it got a little bit closer. I was like, seeing your kids born is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. I mean, it's kind of a a coin toss between.
I like go back to coin toss, please.
Coin toss.
Yeah.
Between high water and seeing your second child born, like it's it's kind of a toss, but.
How are we looking up there, Sergeant Best? On target, on time, boys! Fire for effect! Here we go! Set! You heard him! Fire for effect!
Now her birthday falls every year, so I've got to wait till she's old enough to start running this river, but then it would be her birthday trip, right? So now I have something to look forward to where I'm like, hey, it's your birthday trip, remember? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can kind of disguise my desires just in a present.
Strap her down on that raft and go.
Carabine her in, just clip her in and then, here we go.
She's got 2 on each side just holding on.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do on the outside when you're not making hats?
What do I do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Man, I shoot my bow almost every day.
Do you really?
Cold. Yeah.
What kind of bow?
I have a Prime Logic.
Okay.
But John Dudley, you putting out them PSCs, son.
Hell yeah. I know
What's that
guy.
PSC that you have?
It's a stealth carbon.
Stealth
or
carbon.
the carbon stealth. I can never figure it out.
That thing is freaking awesome.
It's nuts.
I love that one. So I like Prime. Prime has like the double cams.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. This is my first bow, so I don't know anything any different.
Right.
But yeah, my fiance was just kind of like, hey, dude, you need a hobby. Like you've you got to do something, because I just kind of work and I'm home. And so I was like, I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan and the free range stuff. I was like, these dudes are bow hunting. I think I want to try to get into bow hunting.
Yeah.
And she's like, go, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, dude, do it. And I was like, yeah, it can't be that expensive, like whatever. And then I just started looking into everything. But then I'm the kind of guy where I have to research before I buy something.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'll get this bow, I got this riser, this is great. But I'm like, well, I want the Spot Hog Fast Eddie XL.
Yeah.
So I'll wait 2 weeks and budget for that.
Yeah.
And so like it took me 3 months to build my bow, but my bow is so great now. I love it, But now that I kind of know even more, I'm like, damn, John Dudley, those PSCs are looking sick.
They're sick as shit.
So I went hunting a ton this season. I didn't get anything,
Right.
but I had a customer who was getting a hat, and I had my bow hanging in my hat shop, my bow hanging in my hat shop for a while.
Right.
And the dude's like, "Oh, you bow hunt?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, dude, I got like 28 acres out here with a tree stand." And I was like,
What?
"You want me to take like $200 off your hat?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Seriously?
So I had all private land to go
That's
hunt
cool.
on, and that was just so great because it was my first year hunting.
Right.
I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to get. So I watched a lot of the Sitka guy. What's his name?
John.
Yeah,
Barklow.
John Barklow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched a lot of his like instructional videos and stuff, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, I don't really know if I like hunting, so I'm gonna get some Cabela's gear right now.
Sure.
So I just started off small and did my thing and kind of grown my whole like little hunting pack, But man, I was shooting like every day. Then got cold as balls in New Mexico and Tennessee.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna stop. And then when like Christmas time came on, I was pushing like 80 hours a week. So I was like, not much time to shoot at the moment, But dude, I fell in love with it. I just got addicted to it. I love it.
It's super addicting, man. Like I had shot a lot of rifle, pistol, bunch of shit before archery. Yeah, and now I shoot. Well, I've kind of turned my pistol rifle back on actually in the last few months, but I shoot a lot of archery.
Yeah.
I have my trad bow in my backyard of my house. I've got my compound bow archery range here at the shop. We have a full-time bow tech here.
Junior.
Yeah, Junior.
Dude, Junior and I follow each other on Instagram, and then we just, I'm like, hey, he's like, hey. I was like,
hey, what's up, man?
Instagram, buddy? What's up, buddy? Like, didn't
he's
bring
a
my
rad
bow.
dude. Yeah. Isaac Senior and Junior both. Because he was working down at Shields.
Okay.
And I went in and I stole him. I was like, hey, man, why don't you come over and, you could do lots of cool stuff at Black Rifle.
I think we need a bow department.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah.
It was super difficult to steal him because he was like, wait, what? What do you want me to do? I'm like, I need you to like hang out with John Dudley and learn what he does and then come in and do the same thing for us. And,
Did you send him over to John?
no, we're sending him out pretty soon. Logan just got back from John. I was supposed to actually be out there. But he knows John really well. And Isaac Senior's dad, which he calls his roommate because he's still lives with his parents, fucking loser. He's like, the both of those guys are so freaking awesome. And they're great because we do Total Archery Challenge every year. Yeah. You have to come out and shoot it this year with us.
Is
awesome.
Are they doing the Southeastern one this year? Because I know they canceled last year because of COVID.
We're doing one down in San Antonio on our property. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, we're doing an adaptive athlete shoot in San Antonio.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you can come out and shoot right there, right in San Antonio. And we're doing it with Total Archery Challenge. Sean DeGray and those guys, Dudley, everybody's coming out.
Let's do it. We should get some of those dudes, like adaptive athletes, like in hats and stuff like that too.
That'd be rad,
I'd be
man.
happy to donate
guys
some
would be
hats to
like
those guys.
Guys would be super stoked.
Yeah.
But we've really gotten into it. The thing I like about it is, a range can be difficult to get to at times, right?
Mm.
And you can shoot bows like at lunch right here, right behind us. Just cruise back there and be like, oh, I'm just shoot a few arrows,
Yeah.
So we've had a really, really good experience with it. The guys in the company, I think I've bought 30 some bows for guys in the company so far. Just bought 5 more this morning. PSEs. PSE gives us a great deal on those because I'm just giving them to employees and guys that want to shoot either way. So I'm trying to turn people on and get them fucking fired up about it.
Dude, my best friend, I've known him since we were 13. He lives in Nashville now, right?
Did he move out from New Mexico?
Yeah. We literally met at the bike jumps when we were 13.
Solid.
Started our first band together. And then he went from high school. He went to St. Louis, joined a band, got signed. And then from high school, I worked for a band, got signed, did the whole thing. But we would bump into each other on the road.
Fucking cool.
And it was awesome. We'd be like, I'm like, hey, dude, we're playing this like weird festival in California. And he's like, is it this like church festival? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I'm here. I'm like, let's go get a 6-pack of beer. Go hang out in the trailer where no one can see us. You know, like, praise God.
Praise God, yeah.
But man, he's like, it was like 3 years ago. He's like, dude, I'm bow hunting. I'm like, okay. He's like, no, dude, it's so fun. You got to do it. I'm like waking up early. I'm going to the woods by myself. It's like great. I'm like, no.
Right.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
And then when I started researching and got my bow, I was like, dude, I'm getting a bow hunting. He's like, asshole, I've been doing this for years. I'm like, no. But I'm starting. I'm going to do it. You should do it with me.
You should do it.
And I just pissed on him like that, you know, like, but it's been our entire lives, you know. Man, but we were going out hunting together and stuff like that. And he was showing me a ton of stuff to do with hunting and like, I don't know, I fall in love with it, man. Just shooting bows, it's very therapeutic. Yeah. And then, so a bunch of my friends have like kind of gotten into it. I have a buddy, he has a carpentry company and I use his shop to cut out templates that I take for customers. But we built an archery range in his backyard. So we like got a couple 3D targets back there and like some hay bales. And he'll just cruise over and I'll be like, I like to shoot like 85 yards. Just to, you know, and people are like, don't shoot that far.
Right.
I'm like, fuck it. I want to shoot like 100 yards. Let's go. But I'll be like by his house and he'll be like, what are you doing? I'm like, you're shooting? Like, he's not even there, you know? And
right.
Pull up and like, oh, let me go get my bow real quick. I'm like, I'm leaving like 5 minutes. Hurry up, you know?
So I gotta ask.
Yeah.
I gotta get into it. So how do you go from music to making hats? Like why? You know what I mean?
Black Rifle wasn't around at the time.
Sure.
So I was like, I guess I'll just do this.
Just make some hats.
Right. Well, so I rode bulls in high school. So I always like shaped hats in high school.
So you're fucking weird. You were in a metal band.
Yeah.
You rode bulls. You did all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Like, is there a lot of metalheads riding bulls?
No.
Right.
No.
I didn't think so.
I just liked, you know, in high school, I had a buddy, his name was Vince, we called him Hot Man.
It's a good name.
He had flames come up his chaps. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And wild. Like, he's like like your buddy where I'm just like, you're insane.
Right.
You know, he's that guy. He's great. But he's like, hey man, gonna ride bulls. I'm like, not in your fucking life.
Yeah.
Am I gonna ride bulls? That's crazy. He's like, just do it one time. Do it one time. So when you're dying, you look back in your life and you can say, I wasn't a pussy. I rode bulls. And I was like, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
gonna ride bulls. So I did the whole thing. We trained, we practiced, you know, got in a bull. And the very first bull I rode, I covered, which is I went a full 8 seconds. And so I was like, I'm addicted to this. This is like some adrenaline. Because I've been in bands like in high school, you know, do the local band thing and it's fun and being on stage. But I was like, this is an adrenaline like I've never known. Like this is otherworldly to me. I'm in.
Right.
So like my dad has always been really rad and really supportive of me. And I was like, hey dad, I'm going to go out for a school sport. He's like, sick, baseball.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. I'm like, no. He's like, well, it's not football season. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm gonna be a bull rider. He's like Lane Frost or some shit. I'm like, yeah. And he was just like, okay, cool, man. Like, you're going out for the bull riding team. Let's do it, you know? I'm like, great. So he's like, what do you need? I need a vest, need some chaps, need a cowboy hat, whatever. But he was always super rad for stuff like that. I think he just liked that I wasn't, you know, out getting in fights or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got in fights at bull riding, so it didn't matter. But
with the bulls?
With the bulls, dude. Right. Yeah. Because I mean, they're pissed.
Yeah, they're pissed off.
They're pissed off. Yeah. But yeah, I did that. I loved it. I did it for like 2 years. And then I got hurt really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I like went underneath this bull and he just was just dancing, like kicking me. I wasn't wearing a helmet. Like I had probably a brain damage if I'm here sitting with you, you know?
Seemed normal to me.
but I got in a really bad like slump, like psychologically, and I couldn't cover. I couldn't ride, and I would be like riding, and I'd jump off, and I'd hear like, I'm like, am I good? Did I cover? And they'd be like, dude, you were on the bull for like 4 seconds. Like, and
serious?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't
So
get out of
weird.
this slump where I was just like, I felt like I was riding this bull for forever. I'm like, this is a good ride. I'm taking some day money. I'm gonna get this buckle. I'm gonna make out that chick right there.
Oh yeah,
this is gonna be sick. And I just jump off, and they'd be like, what are you doing? I'm like, what? Like, you were like 6 seconds. But I'd just be jumping off the bull. And so I just came to this conclusion. I'm like, wow, I'm like really wasting my dad's money, you know, because I'm getting gas money, I'm getting entry fee money, I'm getting money for food, you know, and I'm driving like a couple hours, picking up my buddies, you know, a little Honda Civics packed to the brim, right? Above gear bags, and we're just like chugging down the road with Copenhagen in our mouth. It's like, yeah, man, it's gonna be a good ride today. Fuck yeah, dude, you know, like, so yeah, from that. And then I got really back into music, like my senior year of high school, you know, just loved music, and my parents got divorced when I was 18. Mm-hmm. And that was like pretty hard on me. And so I was just looking to get out of the house, right? Looking to leave, looking to get out of New Mexico. So the first chance I got, I was like, all right, I'm good. See you later. Fuck high school. I hate school. I don't like being told to do. I'm not good at it. But it's like, I love writing. I love history. I love reading. I read, or who reads? I listen to books, you know, like a madman. But I wasn't good at school. You know what I mean? I was like, C, D student. Yeah, I was never motivated, you know? So yeah, so deal that, whatever. And then I moved to Nashville, and I wandered into a hat shop, and I had a hat on that I had shaped like John Wayne from Rio Bravo. So I had this like real badass kick in the front, like the him and dude wearing Dean Martin.
Yeah, yeah.
And this lady was like, where'd you get that hat? I was like, I shaped it. She's like, you did that yourself? I was like, yeah. You want to give me a job? And I was a meter maid at the time because I was just getting jobs in between tours, right? And she's like, yeah, how much you make right now? And I was like, $14 an hour. And I was making like 10. She's like, I'll give you $15 an hour. I was like, I'm the richest motherfucker alive. I can't believe it. Like, so I was that lady's apprentice, started that in 2016, I think, 2017.
Wow.
I was her apprentice off and on for 3 years. But it was like the kind of thing where it was like, I'd go to lunch, and I'd come back from lunch, and she'd be like, you're fired. I'd be like, why? Because you didn't ask me if you could put that ribbon on that hat.
Right.
So you're fired. Get the fuck out. I'm like, okay. I'd leave. And then like that night, I'm sorry. Just, you need to apologize to me. Just say you're sorry and you can have your job back. And I was like, I'm sorry? Okay, I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'm like, all right. Like, so that for like 3 years where I'd be laying in bed next to my fiance, my heart like, I mean, like, and she'd be like, what's going on? I'm like, I can't remember if I shut the lights off, and if I get to the shop, turn the lights are on, I'm gonna die. Yeah, so I was like, it was really unhealthy. You know what I mean? And like, I gained a lot of weight when I was working there because I was eating like shit and just like stressed out. And I was like, I came to work one day, and my daughter was born. She was about a year and a half at this time, and just kind of getting the origin, so I guess of how I started. Okay. Are we good to segue into this now?
Please do.
Okay. Forgot the diaper bag, right? For the babysitter. I'm like, fuck. I'm supposed to get work at 9:45 because we open at 10. I go, hey, I'm going to be there at 10. I forgot the diaper bag. She goes, hung up the phone, just hung up on me. I'm like, okay, great. It's whatever. You know, get to work. It's like 10 a.m., right? I'm like, all right, hey, it's whatever. I'm here. I know I'm late. Technically, I'm late, but I'm here before doors open. You can't be late. You can never be late. And I'm like, okay, I'll never be late again. I'm never gonna be fucking late ever. And if I'm late, I want you to just to fucking shoot me in the face. Like, I just kind of fed into it like with her, you know? I'm like, fucking crazy. And she's just like, I can't believe you. Like, she wouldn't let it go. Like,
are you serious?
Dude, I'm not joking. It's like, I'm at work for like 45 minutes. I'm at work. I'm like working out, like doors are open. I'm making hats. And she's just like, where do you get off? You know? Like, and here's the thing. This lady,
it's fucking
a ton of money, right?
nuts.
Not married, no kids.
Awesome.
Like, and she's just like, and she goes, I go, Gigi, I'm sorry. Edit that out. Sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot the diaper bag, you know? She goes, you think your life's hard now? Wait till your daughter's 16, you catch her sucking some dude's dick. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I can't work here, you know? Like, I can't work here. So I literally just handed her key. I go, here you go.
Sorry.
Don't call me. It's craziness. Like, it's craziness.
I would love to do that. Like, I'm just thinking about
The puppet can.
The puppet
can.
I do these things as jokes, but there are people that are serious that do this, like in real life.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking hilarious as a
dude.
joke.
I mean, I look back now, I'm like, God, what were
where do you get off?
Oh, dude, just, I'd be sitting there like this, right? Look over and she's like this. just
boring holes in you with her fucking eyes.
You fucking sack
You
of shit. How
fucking
dare
sack
you
of
come in
shit.
here, you know, on time. Late, but on time, you know? I'm like, God, kill me, please strike me down. I can't do
3
this.
years.
Yeah, man, apprentice for 3 years. Yeah. Because I love making hats. You know what I mean? Like, that was the thing. It's like, and I was meeting cool people at the time. Like, I was making hats for a bunch of really rad dudes, you know?
Right.
The fucking keyboard player for Bon Jovi walked in one day with his wife.
That's pretty cool.
And I'm like, I don't really care for your music, but you're so nice and this is just cool. Like, whatever, this is awesome. And I meet all these rad people. And I was making hats and I loved it. So that was it. I was like, man, here's your key. Don't call me. I'm over this. I'm not doing this anymore. This shouldn't be work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to be, people may get off on that and they may like it. I'm like, I got to live my life, you know? So I literally left, went and had a beer at my buddy's barber shop, right?
Right.
And he's like, dude, start Daisy May, man. Why don't you start your hat company now? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I call my fiance. I go, she's at work. She's like, hey, what's wrong? I go, hey, I quit my job. Like, and my kid's like a year old. Holy shit. I just start crying. Like, I'm just like, what did I do? I'm a fucking idiot. You know, like, I can't believe I just quit my job. And she's like, good job. This is good. Do a GoFundMe. Do a GoFundMe right now. Do it. Go home and just start it. Come on.
Right.
And she's like, just don't go pick up our daughter right now. Just give it a couple hours, but go get this set up and then go pick up our kid. I'm a babysitter. I'm like, okay, yeah. I called a buddy. It's my buddy in life who's like always done very well for himself, right? Has a business, got married, car, whatever, right? Family. I'm like, always good with his money. I go, hey, dude, this just happened. He's like, great. Start a GoFundMe. I don't know, dude. That's weird. I don't want people to give me their money and like pity. I don't want that. You know, I don't work for it. I'm a fucking man, you know? He's like, yeah, you have a kid, right? I go, yeah. He goes, oh, good. You have no room for pride.
Yeah.
Go start your GoFundMe and go start your hat company. I was like, okay, cool. And that was, I did that a year and a half ago. And in a week, my goal was $3,000.
Right.
I don't know why. I know I needed $30,000, but I was like, $3,000 is going to get me up and going. Like, I'm making it work, you know?
Yeah.
I raised $4,500 in 5 days. I was like, fuck yeah. I shut it off. I was like, here we go.
Right.
Gonna start making hats. And I got a consultant and I got all this stuff and I started just moving and shaking, man. And I got a shop and, you know, I met Brendan and I started just getting orders coming in. But I had like 10 orders before I even had a shop. And people were like, hey, I heard you're the hat guy. I'm like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm the hat guy. I make hats.
Right.
They're like, great. Well, I'm looking for a hat. Like, I'll drive to your house for an appointment for your first appointment because I'm really big on customer service. They're like, great, let's do it. You know, and then like my second month in, it was like Lee Bryce, the country singer, like his stylist called me. And then
that's
like
fucking cool.
Dude, it was like all this, and then just random people started hitting me up, for hats.
Why?
I don't know. Why? I don't know. I think I don't know because I'm like,
did you have like I
had an Instagram page and a website.
But did you have, was there a catalyst, like a person that was like,
Brendan, making Brendan a hat was rad. And then, it's been a slow burn, like it's been like, oh, hey, I made Lee Bryce a hat. But no one cares if you made Lee Bryce a hat if you only have 400 followers on Instagram. It doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
But then I saw like Tim Montana.
Yeah.
Who we both mutually hate.
Yeah, I don't like the guy.
I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah,
I hate when he calls me.
He's not talented either. He can't write music.
No, not at all.
His music sucks. Just typically like
he's always looking out for himself.
He's not talented. Yeah.
And he's never done anything for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Has he done anything for you?
Super selfish.
Very.
Not entertaining whatsoever.
Yeah. I watch that guy. I'm like, does he want me to laugh or cry right now? I never know where what to do.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's really uncomfortable because he has no talent.
No, none. So I found him on Instagram and I was like, who is this dude? This dude's great. Like, he's
hilarious.
great, but I hate him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Great, but I hate him.
He's hilarious, but I don't think he's funny.
No.
You're right.
Exactly. And I wrote him, I go, hey dude, I don't know if you ever want a custom hat, but if you do, just hit me up. I'm right outside town. I'm a little bit north of Nashville, my shop. I'm like, I'm just right outside town, dude. If you want a custom hat, like I'd love to make you one. And I thought he was just like this funny Instagram guy.
Right.
Who's not funny, but
Correct.
And then he was like, hey dude, yeah, I want to come get a hat. And he came and got one. And I was like, hey, yeah, I'll make you this hat. Like, thanks for coming out here. And he goes, okay, cool. Well, I'll buy them. I'll buy them both. And I was like, well, no, I was going to give you this one. You just, maybe tag me on Instagram or something like that.
Right.
And he goes, no, I'll pay for both. I want this one that I'm going to pay for. And then I want you to make me another one that I'm also going to pay for. And I was like, whoa. And then I was wearing my Black Rifle shirt when he walked in.
Oh, seriously?
Dude, the camo one with the machine gun and the orange looks, it's the still saw one.
Oh, yeah.
Love that. I love it even more because my dad used to cut timber in Oregon. So I'm like, yes, so sick. But he was like, oh yeah, man, I thought you were just like one of those hipster dudes from East Nashville.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I know, I know I wear like tight pants. It probably makes you uncomfortable, but like, no, I love Black Rifle and stuff. I think it's cool. And he was like, holy shit, man, this is really cool. And so we had this like, so not to fanboy on you or sound weird, but like over my workbench, right? I have this like huge portrait of you painted on my window, like a glass stain thing of you.
Course. Yeah.
No, I'm just it says, you have to sacrifice your ego on the altar of business, right? Yeah. And it's like Evan Hafer. He's like, oh, dude, I know Evan. And I was like, oh, that's really fucking cool, man. Like, you want to kick me in the balls while you're at it? Like, everyone. Fun, But man, he was just so great. And I made him this hat and he tagged me. And then like a few months later, he was like, he calls me. He goes, hey, you're about to get a phone call from like a whatever number. I'm like, who is it? He goes, it's Billy Gibbons. You're welcome, bitch. He hung up on me. And I was like, and I'm just kind of sitting in my shop. It's like a Saturday afternoon, right? And I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, right on. Like, Billy Gibbons gonna call me. Phone rings. I'm just like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, hey, this is Gage. He's like, Gage, Billy F. Gibbons, your bearded friend from ZZ Top, looking for a hat. I'm like, okay, man, like, come to the shop. He's like, I'm going to get lunch at Chewy's, and then I'm going to be en route. We'll call you when en route. I'm like, all right, dude, sounds good. Sure as shit, man, hour and a half later, Billy Gibbons is standing in my shop. And we're just like having this great conversation. Telling these songs he's writing about like Billy the Kid and I don't know, all this weird shit, and I'm just like standing there. And in my head, I'm like, what is my life right now? Like, this dude's, I'm making this dude a hat. And he goes, what's turnaround time? I go, you're looking like 6 to 8 weeks. He goes, need it by Monday afternoon. It was Saturday, dude.
Why?
Because he was doing a TV thing with Tim.
Oh, gotcha.
So these dudes wore my hats on Fox and Friends.
Oh, yeah, I totally remember that.
I
totally remember that, yeah.
Dude, Tim does that shit all
American
the time.
Thread. Yeah, I did American Thread. Yeah, I totally remember that.
He does that shit all the time for me.
How did you condense How do you do that? How do you do like take 6 weeks and do it in fucking 3 days?
I did it in like 24 hours.
How?
I didn't go home.
Right.
I didn't go home. Called Donna. I was like, I'm coming home from dinner, and then I'm gonna come back to work, right? And then you're not gonna see me like tomorrow,
right?
She's like, okay. I go, because Megan had Billy Gibbons. She's like, wow, that's great. Billy Gibbons, cool. So that was one that I'd call my dad.
Right.
I was like, hey, dude,
check this out.
Billy Gibbons. My dad's like, he doesn't cuss. He's like, no shit, for real?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah. Fucking Billy Gibbons. He was just like, he's famous. ZZ Top, man. He's famous. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. It's badass. What's up, bitch? You know? But I steam the block. I take it, right? It's a felt. And then I steam it and I put it over the block.
Explain to me the process. So like this hat right here, like start to finish, tell me what this is all about.
Okay. So this hat right here comes as a hat body, right? So it's a big dome with a big wide brim.
Okay.
And it's really fuzzy, right? It's really furry. So this is like super smooth. I take it, I steam it, and then like let's say you were 7/3/8 size, right? Your hat size.
7.5. Yeah.
7.5. Okay, great. So I take a 7.5 block and I stretch this over that block.
Okay.
I tie it off so I have a nice break line. A break line is this right here, the separation of the crown and the brim. I tie it with a piece of rope and then I iron it to that block and then I sand the whole thing down.
Okay.
Then I take it off the block and then I sand down the brim, right? Top and bottom. And then I have a tool called a rounding jack and I cut this brim down to size.
Okay.
And then from there, I shape it. If I'm gonna dye it, I dye it first and then I do the whole thing. And then I sew the sweatband in. I put your template in there and I iron it to your template. And then that's about it.
So, but you're telling me earlier that the hardness, for instance, comes from insect guts. Like when do you start to add all of that?
I don't do that, right? My manufacturer does. Okay. So when I get the hat bodies from them, it comes in felt, right? So it's like the down of the beaver, the down of rabbit. They compress it with just steam and moisture, make the hat body, and then but with that, to get it like really like stiff like this.
Yeah, it's hard.
That's a good hat. It's good
super
hat.
hard. Yeah.
They take the felt where it's in the initial shape, and then they dunk it in these machines that it looks like tree sap almost, and that's a stiffening agent. And that stiffening agent is a beetle from South America.
So do they go out and no shit capture a bunch of beetles and then grind them up, or how does that?
I don't know how they do it.
So interesting to me because we're still using insects.
Primitive.
It's super primitive.
Yeah.
And it has to be at scale because obviously these are hats.
Yeah.
And they're widely sold and distributed hats, I would imagine, right? Because you've made what, 400? Is that what you said?
Probably
so
probably over my years, like, and my tenure as a hat maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're working on them, 6 weeks, like, man, that's a ton of freaking time.
That's just my wait time.
Right.
That's just that's my order, my order list. I'm like, hey, I'm wait a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But how long does it take you to make one all in? Like when you're start to finish, how long do you think it takes you? Like hours?
4.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
4. Yeah.
So you do what? One a day during the week when you're back?
I do 2.5.
Do you really?
Yeah. I depending on the season, like November, December, I was pushing like 80, 85 hours a week.
Right.
And that sucks. You know what I mean? It's needed. I understand that it was needed, but I'm like, I can't do that all the time.
Right.
So I mean, I really didn't see my fiance or my daughter till like Christmas Eve evening.
Oh yeah,
because I was at the shop working.
Right. And how do most of your orders come in? Or is it walk in, or people emailing or DMing you going, hey, want to get that hats, yo?
A lot of people DM me, but the crazy thing is I have a website.
Right.
So if you go to daisymayhats.com, You have to DM me. You can
You
buy that motherfucker off that website.
Okay.
You know? So
Okay.
so you buy it, you can do a custom hat, right? You can do a rabbit felt or a beaver felt hat.
And what's the difference between the two?
Beaver's a little bit more rigid, you know, because it has natural oils within the fiber of the felt, so it wicks water away a little bit better.
Right.
I say you may get a rabbit hat reshaped once a year, and then a beaver you might get it shaped like once every year and a half.
Okay, so it lasts a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
Is there a price difference typically between rabbit and beaver then?
Yeah. So rabbit, they start at $400. And if you want like a custom dye job, it's a tax on $150. And then beaver starts at $800 and then goes up with that. You know, and there's some, if you want like, you know, high grade leather, like some exotic leather or something, you know, like Brennan Schaub's wife, her hat, I got gator belly.
Oh,
so we did like a gator belly band for her hat. So it was dyed gray.
Yeah.
And then it had like a bound edge where ribbon is on the outside of this brim right here. Had a black bound edge with black gator belly, like a matte black gator belly band hat band. It was just like, I was like, man, this thing is so sweet. You know, like super stoked on this one.
So when you're making them, is the majority of the people that are they wearing them as fashion for the most part? But profession, are they wearing them professionally too, or is it mainly just fashion?
Mainly just fashion, you know. I mean, there's like some country singer dudes, right? Like Tim, like that's his profession. You know, he wears it every day. You know?
He does.
But there are some dudes who are like, hey man, I want a nice hat to take my wife out with, you know. And then you kind of got your dudes who are like, I want the craziest fucking hat where it's got like 100 different colors in it. I'm like, yeah, it's fun. You know, it's fun to make really wild looking hats, but it's also fun to make a very simple, clean hat, right? Where it's like, I know that guy keeps that hat in a hat box in his closet and he takes it out once a year, you know, on his anniversary or something. I'm like, I get stoked for both, you know? But yeah, mostly it's more just, you know, fashion kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you wear them? Do you wear them when you're out doing like when you're sitting in a tree stand and shit? Do you wear your own hats or do you wear like ball caps?
I wear a black rifle hat.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Solid. It's fucking solid, man.
I literally only wear a black rifle hat or I have a knock-on hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know, some people are like, do you only wear your own hats? I'm like, no, my company has really cool trucker hats. I dig them.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, I'm like, if I like this, I'm going to wear it. I'm sure if it's like, if you're going, you're like, they don't sell Black Rifle coffee here, but there's a coffee shop.
Sure.
I'll probably get you, I imagine you go buy a cup of coffee.
I do. I buy coffee everywhere all the time. Right?
I told you guys, like, pandering.
Yeah.
Pandering.
I buy it everywhere all the time. I stop on my way to work sometimes just to check out different local coffee shops all the time. I have a coffee shop in my neighborhood that's not Black Rifle. I take my kids down there. We get cocoa and it's funny because I'll cruise in there and they're like, oh, cheating on the wife. You know, I'm like, well, yes, this is my girlfriend, but that's beside the fact.
You keep your fucking mouth shut.
Keep your fucking mouth shut.
Okay.
If you guys know what's good for you, you know, like,
hey, Daddy used to work for the government. Okay, so.
No, I get it. You know, because I wear fucking all kinds of weird ass hats from other people, and it's like we sell them right downstairs. So it's like, whatever.
Yeah,
I think it's really fucking cool though, because I don't know shit about making hats, obviously, because that's why I'm asking you these questions. And it seems like this. It's an old profession.
I do the same way they do in the 1800s. Except wild. I don't use fucking mercury. You know what I mean? Which
is bullshit, because if you're true to the trade, you'd be using mercury.
Listen, bitch, find me some mercury. I'll put it in your goddamn hat, okay?
What the fuck? This guy's not using mercury in these hats? How are you supposed to go nuts around here? Yeah. I want real mercury. I don't want them insect guts, okay? I want real mercury. I want to go nuts.
I want to go crazy.
I want to go crazy with these hats.
Crazy up in this bitch.
I was on an interview. I'm thinking about this was on an interview with
This
a
isn't
guy.
Evan. This is Puppet Evan. I'm
Yeah.
it's like, what
It's
the fuck?
Puppet Evan. And I was on an interview with a guy. You did an interview with him too.
Dude, Hector. Coach
Hector.
HB.
Man, that guy's so fucking cool.
Dude, how cool is that guy?
He's
I
so
fucking
cool.
love that guy.
Dude. So you were the dude.
I'm the guy.
You're the guy.
So-
yeah.
He was like, same thing. What, I'm not trying to like beat you off or anything, dude, but it's like, what inspires you? I'm like, oh, this dude has this really rad coffee company. I love what he's doing. I literally just kind of rip him off with my hat company and it seems to work,
It seems to
like,
work.
whatever.
good.
And I was like, oh, he asked me like, what keeps you grounded or whatever. I'm like, well, I have this quote by Evan Hafer it's on my window and I probably read it 150 times a day. Like, and I feel like that has been so ingrained in me that I'm no longer, afraid to ask for help, right? Like, I'm like, I don't know how to fucking do this. I'm just gonna ask someone else. I don't know how to do it.
Right.
I'm gonna kill my ego, right?
Yeah.
Like, but he was like, dude, Evan's gonna be on this week. And I was like, holy shit, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Tell that guy we'll make him a hat, And then he sent me that clip of you guys talking and you're like, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I was like,
Yeah,
what the
because Tim told me about you, somebody else too. So like everybody kind of was like, oh yeah, there's this fucking crazy hat maker in Nashville, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like some hipster bullshit, like
Yeah.
straight up.
Yep.
And then I was like, no, he's not. He's actually super cool, dude.
Yeah.
But that guy, man, he and I've been talking for a while because he's like, hey, I'm gonna get you this mitt,
Dude.
and we're gonna go throw baseballs down in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And what a fucking legitimately cool guy. So how did you hook up with him?
Brendan Schaub posted a picture of me.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So I took Brendan a hat when he was in Nashville. He was
Right.
doing a show at Zany's.
Yeah.
I took him his hat.
Yeah.
And another guy, as you know, just cool as can be, man.
Cool as a
Like
cucumber.
he's like, hey, bro, let's get a picture together. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
fun, whatever. And then I leave and then I get home. And by the time I got home, I had like 100 new followers. And I'm like, what is going on? And sure as shit, man, he posted a fucking picture of he and I standing there.
That's cool.
And that dude's got like over 1 million followers. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I text him and I'm like, hey, him and Tim, I'm like, you don't know, even this thing here, I'm like, you don't understand what this does for me. This helps me feed my family.
Right.
Like I don't take this lightly. I feel fortunate enough to where it's like, yeah, I could fly me a videographer guy. We get to come to Salt Lake. How cool is this, man? It's like
Badass.
a year
Fun.
ago, I'd be like, can you fly me out? I'm gonna drive or something,
Right.
But now it's like this amazing thing. And, there's just been these really great people like Hector, like Brandon, like Tim, like that have just helped me out, for no reason. I'm like, you guys have to pay for your hats. Like, I'm not that cool. You know what I mean? Like, they've just been super kind to me,
Yeah.
and that's just something I don't take for granted. So those two dudes, your Tim and Brendan, like, they're like, hey, I want a hat. I
Right.
drop everything. I'm like, you're my dudes. Like,
Right.
I'm going to get you in your hats, whatever you want. Like, sky's the limit for you guys. Like, what are you thinking? And that's been so fun. Both of them, they're like, I don't know. Do whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, cool. So Brendan's last hat, I made it look like a shoe. So I put like, what off-white is? Those shoes?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I put like off-white laces as his hat
Oh
band.
yeah. Yeah.
And then I cut out, I had like the rhino skin from like the Nike factory. My buddy does shoes.
Huh?
So like the
I know exactly what you're talking
Jordans,
about.
yeah, I
Yep.
cut my lightning bolt out.
That's cool.
And I put that on his hat. And that you have the tongue of your shoe,
Uh-huh.
right? There's that stitch. Well, I just did a bound edge on the back of the hat right here. So it starts here and ends here. So it's like, that's like the tongue of the shoe.
Yep.
And he was like, I gotta have that hat. I gotta have that hat. And I was like,
That's fucking cool.
yeah.
Like that. Well, and as you're establishing, I think, a reputation as the crazy hat guy, which
Mhm.
is fucking cool. It's a cool reputation because
I
I
love
mean, quite literally, it's fucking cool. I mean, in Nashville's there's like no better place for that. Like truly,
Yeah.
you landed in a spot where like to be a crazy hat guy, that's a pretty damn cool place to be because there's tons of aspiring musicians that want badass hats, I would imagine.
And I love making dudes like that hats. You know, dudes who are like, hey man, I got like $350, so I got like $300. I'm like, give me your money.
Yeah.
I'd rather have you in my hat than you wearing some Stetson.
Yeah.
Like, let's grow the community, get local, you know, buy local. And yeah, I want to help you out. Like, let's do it, man. Because I know that kid, he's going to be probably in 5 years some signed country singer who's, you know, kicking ass, right?
He's going to remember.
He's going to remember.
He's going to remember.
You know, and I like that. I like being a part of stories.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. You know what I mean?
I had a hat made a few years ago. My rafting company, there's this small hat maker in this town of Salmon, Idaho, which is like tiny 8,000 people.
Where is that from Lewiston?
It's like southeast by like 7.5 hours or something like that. It's really closer to Missoula than it is anywhere.
My brother lives in Lewiston. That's why I asked.
I'm from Lewiston originally.
Okay.
Yeah. Your brother.
My brother.
Not your husband.
No, I'm not.
Right.
I have a fiance.
What does he do in Lewiston?
Blows up roads. He drills roads.
And he lives in Lewiston, of all places. And you guys are from New Mexico?
Yeah. My whole family's from the Pacific Northwest, dude.
That's wild.
My dad was a logger and like deep sea fisher in Alaska.
Oh, really?
And now he's you want to talk about a weird fucking story. Now he's a diagnostic laser technician. Works on the base, works on Kirkland Air Force Base.
Okay, yeah.
In Albuquerque.
Right.
Motherfucker builds lasers, dude. Like, his pictures hanging.
That's wild.
His picture up in the Smithsonian Museum.
What?
Yeah. No college education.
What? And how did he make that jump?
His cousin worked on the base and for a company called K-Tech.
Right.
And he was just like, hey man, you gonna cut timber forever or you wanna live, right? Like,
do some cool shit.
My dad had shattered both of his legs cutting timber.
Ugh.
And, you know, seen a lot of friends die. Right. And got him a job out there. He started out, it was just me and my two older brothers when we first moved to New Mexico. And so he was like, we lived in a double wide trailer and, you know, he made it happen, man. You know, he's worked there. I'm 30 years old. He's worked there for 29 years.
That's
start at the bottom.
That's wild.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He's the hardest working motherfucker I know. He's awesome.
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, my dad's the same way, right?
Right.
I mean, he was.
No, my dad works harder than your dad.
No, I mean, probably, yeah. My dad's a little bit lazy now. He's like, he's got me. You know, he's like, "Wow, you got it now, boy. It's fine. You know,
you take it.
You got it. You take it. You take it. You take the wheel, Jesus." You know, he worked hard all his life. Now it's fine. I'm good with just kind of like letting him do whatever the fuck he wants to do.
Does he work for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just yell at him all the time?
Yeah.
How you like me now, Dad?
Yeah. Like,
clean my room now, Dad.
Yeah. Why don't you clean my room?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just come in and like throw cereal all over. Like, why don't you clean that up, Dad? No. He's down in Arizona just doing dad stuff. He's cruising around. But what I was saying was Lewiston is where I grew up.
Okay.
Salmon is where that hat company is. And it's a straw hat. Oh, so on the river, when you're rowing boats, it's a straw hat, right?
Yep.
Keeps the shade off it keeps the sun off your neck, you know, provides a little bit of shade. But it's like one of the coolest things because as like these guides are out in the middle of nowhere and you see these guides rowing boats in the middle of the, you know, middle fork of the salmon, they all got these fucking straw cowboy hats. And you're like, when you first go out there, you're like, what in the fuck are these hippies doing out here? Like they have finally smoked so much fucking dope that they've lost their minds.
Your pants shorten up there, Chief. Smells like a little bit of weed over here.
Yeah.
Plant medicine.
It's like, you know, pearl snap button flannels and fucking cowboy hats. And they're all like a bunch of hippies rowing rafts. And then you realize you get it.
Yeah.
Because it's the heritage of where they are and what they were doing, because cowboys and ranchers, that's what they used to do.
Yeah.
in their off time, and a lot of these guys, like, they were ranchers.
Wow. Yeah.
They'd have to move their shit from point A to point B, and they would use the river.
Okay.
A lot of these dudes were rowing boats when there wasn't a rubber raft to row boats. They're building, boats out of wood and fucking pushing them down the river. These guys were hard motherfuckers. Well, now they're, rafting guides are fairly hard. I would never, take anything away from that profession because it's difficult work, but they're definitely not like punching cattle. But a lot of these guys are just country boys, like blue collar country boys that work hard, and they go out and they row boats, and they love rowing whitewater and drinking light beer, and that's fucking great.
Yeah,
because there's nothing better than rowing a fucking boat down a river and drinking a boatload of PBRs playing the guitar every night.
Awesome.
Next to fire. Tim Montana did that with me, as a matter of fact, a few years ago. We went down the river with him.
I don't know why you take Tim. You fucking hate Tim and you like me. So
that's true.
Sign me up for next summer.
Well, I took Tim only to remind him of how much I dislike him. Like, I just take him places to remind him that I don't like him.
And to be like, hey, I want I brought you here, but you don't deserve this.
I have a fucking song that Tim wrote. He wrote this song on the river and then sang it there while straight up wrote it and sang it while we were on the river doing this rafting trip out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And dude, he is so damn talented. And now I'm like gushing over Tim Montana. This guy, this Tim Montana character anyway.
Oh boy.
Tim Montana, oh boy. I gotta play this song. So he wrote this song literally on the river.
God, he sucked. He's so good.
It sucks. Like, dude, he threw that out he threw it out in 30 minutes. It was just like, bang, got it. Daisy Tappin. We stopped at this cabin, and it was the Daisy cat. It was Daisy Tappin's cabin, and we were eating lunch on the beach. And this motherfucker had this song knocked out by the time that we finished lunch.
That's ridiculous.
No, it's ridiculous. And what's more ridiculous is there are people out there that are that talented.
Yeah.
That's what's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, be sure to kick him in the balls when you see him next.
I will.
I don't like that guy one bit. Tell everybody where they can find you, and don't tell them the lead time on those hats, though. Just tell them where they can find you.
So my Instagram is just Daisy May Hat Co. And my website is daisymayhats.com. Yep. And then I have a podcast.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Daisy May Chat Co.
Okay.
And we don't do it very often, but when we do, it's really hilarious.
Is it?
Yeah, we have a good time.
It doesn't seem like you like to have a good time.
No, I really hate this right now.
Stupid.
And I hate you. And I'm
a horrible time.
I really wish I stayed in Nashville.
Hey man, I appreciate you coming out either way. Even if it was just to make fun of Tim and give Lucas his hat. I mean, I guess.
This is really awesome, dude. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Dude,
Thanks for having me.
It was awesome having you. I really appreciate it. We'll do it again. I appreciate it. Thanks, Jack. All right.
Old Daisy Tappin had a cabin near the water till some shit you couldn't call it home. They made a trade the river and the land they couldn't give her for a ranch down an old dirt road. Every night she dreamed about the mountains and the streams where the eagles fly. Old Daisy Tappin had a cabin by the water where the ponderosas play.